Nothing at Le Mans beats speed combined with reliability. And if your cars have problems, and people like BMW keep pounding away without any problems, however fast you are, that's not enough. The red, white and green Ferrari running second of these two cars here, we have to recognize is perhaps the swan song of the Ferrari 333, and that is the British crewed Audi Coupe. That looks like a straight lock-up and a run-on down the escape road, and here he is back in the pits. That was Perry McCarthy. Perry McCarthy, sharing with Andy Wallace and James Weaver, has managed to bring the car out of the gravel trap at Indianapolis and come on back. Very troubled cars, these, just too new. But it's a runner. It still looks very elegant. Audi are determined to get their cars to the finish. They've got the British crewed 2 GT cars and the open Spiders run by the Joest team, and this looks like the end, well, very much the end. We can see little flame inside there. The Judd V10 has blown comprehensively on the dams entered Christophe Tinceau and Franck Montini and David Terrien driven number 25 Lola. Yes, thank you very much and good night. That is the end of the Lola. Out in the Porsche curves with the alarmingly solid concrete walls very close to the edge of the track. There's the Ferrari still running after various dramas. The car only qualified about 15th. It was not the easiest run. The JB team did originally have 2 cars entered. Oh, and he's busy trying to wipe out the neighboring mechanics. Deserving of a little drink. Yes, I did manage to get out of the way without being completely knocked over. So, a regular pit stop for the lead BMW. And that gentleman there with the headset on is the boss of the Toyota team, Andre de Cortans, the designer of the car. And the Panos thunders on into the night. Such a wonderful noise. Everyone get everything out of the way, please. We're coming out. The pits are very close, and just in front of the BMW pits are the Rook Porsche cars, all of which have had troubles and spins, and so their mechanics are also a little bit on edge. The Audi is ready to come in, and here is Boutsen handing over to either Kalleners or McNish. We will see in a minute. The pit lane really very crowded, and away he goes. And gently, gently, when that engine comes off cam, it really sounds like a very basic engine. Once it's up and wound, it sounds absolutely beautiful. And out there on the Mulsanne Straight, the echo of these impressively quick cars is just a wonderful noise at dusk. 200,000 fans from all over the world, including the regulation 50,000 British fans. And we've got a spinner. We've got a spinner that looked like a tire deflation. And he's hit the barrier, and it's one of the Toyotas. It's one of the Toyotas has hit the barrier, and that is going to be a big problem. Yes, you can see that the right rear worried looks inside, more than worried looks inside the Toyota pit there. And he's going to try, and it is the #1 car of Martin Brundle, and he's trying to get it back to the garage, but I don't see that happening. He smacked the wall really quite hard, and no, he's stopped. That's Martin Brundle thinking, what have I got to do to win this race one more time? We all suspect that if Martin were to win it one more time, he would finally hang up his helmet forever. But that means that the BMWs are in an even stronger position, with Brundle's car out there and Boutsen's car still out there, and the other threats to them. BMW couldn't have been so sure, but at the moment it looks very good indeed. And the class-leading Chrysler Viper of Olivier Beretta and Carl Wendlinger. That's Carl Wendlinger there at the wheel. And Brundle, poor chap, there is Brundle sitting at the side of the track. Can't even bear to take his helmet off yet. Thierry Boutsen there, keeping an eye on everything in the Toyota pits, and I'm delighted to say we've been handed a piece of paper from the organisers that says that Peter Dumbreck, driver of the number 5 Mercedes-Benz, which we saw flying through the air on the Mulsanne Straight, is unhurt. He's been taken to hospital and been checked out, a thorough checkout, but we understand he is no more than bruised, and that can really only be described as a miracle. The strength of the impact that the Mercedes-Benz went through, to believe that someone could have survived that unhurt is almost incredible. Meanwhile, back with the action, we saw the Pénaus there in trouble coming into the pits, and this is the class-leading Porsche 911 GT3 car, the much more road-going class, of which there were only 4 or 5 cars actually made it into the race, 2 of them very obviously supported by the Porsche factory. That's a puncher, and that's trouble. And strange though it may seem to you, watching this, that you can set the fastest lap in the dark, but that's what Toyota number 2 has just achieved. Alan McNish at the wheel, and Alan McNish now just 57 seconds behind, for all the impression it makes on the leading Toyota mechanics there. McNish closing in on the leader. He's been driving a tremendous stint, and here is a further problem. And this is once again our friend Mr. Terrada sharing with Frank Freon and Robin Donovan of Britain in the Auto X branded Riley and Scott car. That is having a very troubled run, has spent a lot of time in the garages, and he's now spun and very generously pointing his headlights straight towards the oncoming traffic. That is Arnage there. That is the corner of Arnage where the old signalling pits used to be in the days before pits to car radio. And we've got somebody else off in the dirt. Now this is action all over the place. The Rook car of Claudia Hurtgen appears simply to have outbraked itself, unless they've hit some oil, but they've flown off. That is underneath the Dunlop bridge. Such an evocative sight and sound as the grandstands thin out, as this vast 200,000 people crowd thins out a little bit as they head off in search of beer and hamburgers and good French food, and of course the funfair. The cars echo on through the night. Still a lot of runners. We've still got 29 cars out of the 46 that started, while Toyota go about one of their regular stops. That's the Boutsen McNish Ralph Kellener's car. Kellener's has driven very well as well. The number 2 Toyota still looking very strong. Franz Conrad's Porsche, and just touching onto the gravel there, in between Indianapolis and Arnage. Oh, and it had an immediate effect. It had an immediate effect that would appear to be Franz Conrad. Yes, having got onto the outside rough, leaving Indianapolis, gone straight on at Arnage. Got to get that car back to the pits for a check over. The Toyota crew, some snatching a few moments of rest. A very mixed crew this, from Toyota Team Europe in Cologne, Germans and Englishmen, as well as Japanese, obviously. And this is a huge accident. There is not much left of that car. Now, which is this and where are we? That is underneath the Dunlop Bridge. The S is just before the Dunlop Bridge, and that is the number 2 Toyota. Toyota have again got a problem. Look at those faces of resignation, the shaking heads. And this is somebody else spinning. This is somebody else spinning. That is an open car. This is not a replay of the Toyota. That's right. That's the Courage C52 of the Italian former Grand Prix trio of Sciattarella, Montermini and Alex Caffi. And that's in a different location altogether. Now, we're seeing once again a picture of the Montero brothers in their 911. Is this because they've been involved in the accident with coming into the pit lane? Is this because they've been involved in the accident? No, they're not in the pit lane, excuse me. They've got a long way to go. All the flags are out. There is a full course yellow flag here, and the doctors are working on that car. Thierry Boutsen yet to be extracted from that car. And here this is the third and only remaining Toyota out of this massive effort, has been taken not into the pits but straight into the box.